The financial life of someone with ADHD can be chaotic. We have an idea of how much we earn, but what about how much we spend? It's quite common to be surprised by the credit card bill or to make unnecessary impulse purchases. But there are tools that help me bring order to this chaos, and I teach all of them in the first link in the description.
Another intrinsic issue, here is our reduced ability to self-monitor. Self-monitoring not just because of the fact that you need to be alert to everything you say, like a filter, an antivirus, that if a virus gets through, that's not quite what happens. We should have a minimum filter, and this minimum filter is compromised because of ADHD. Our simancol doesn't work very well. And we need to be constantly calibrating this, okay? And when I talk about self-monitoring, it doesn't mean losing your essence. It doesn't mean losing your authenticity. When we are policing ourselves, it means briefly remembering that something we are saying in the past was not nice. And that's how we avoid repeating in the present. You're there talking to someone, having a discussion, you're socializing. So self-monitoring is about being aware of this right when you're about to bring up a topic. And I've talked about this topic before and it didn't go well. This didn't work out. It's not good for me to repeat this kind of behavior. So in this way, you become immune. You start to notice these patterns and you avoid repeating them in the present. And it doesn't have to be just words, okay? These are attitudes, situations, places you've been. It's important to self-monitor in a healthy way, not to become paranoid, but to try to remember this is practice, okay? Even though our filter is deficient. This is practice. Can you reach a good state of this kind of self-monitoring? Let's put it this way. Self-monitoring can be good and bad. It can be both good and bad. Because even that needs to be monitored so that you don't become a hostage to inauthentic behavior. Okay. And that ends up deteriorating your relationships. You really need to find the right balance. This self-monitoring is so you don't keep holding yourself back. Being inauthentic is bad for you, okay? Because it's a stone-filled backpack. Weight of not being yourself, not being your true self. A weight of not being who you are, not being your true self, and no one can keep up a facade for long. And no one can maintain inauthenticity for long. Either you go crazy, or you drive the other person crazy, or vice versa. On the other hand, even if you're properly using the fact that you're self-monitoring, if you mess up, or if you make a mistake, if you miscalculate when it comes to self-monitoring, it's all good. Don't stay. And if you are blaming yourself for that, because our disorder takes away some of that clarity, okay? About what's right, about what's wrong, okay? About what's appropriate, about what's inappropriate. So most likely when you adjust the level of self-monitoring, you might also mess up due to a lack of clarity. So many times you'll turn to other people's opinions to see if that's it. Even if you should speak up. If that's it. Even if you should think about whether the reasoning is right or not. And then you also have to monitor yourself so you don't get too addicted to asking for other people's opinions. So, monitoring our attitudes and temperaments isn't something we can fully rely on. It's something necessary. However, it's not 100% reliable. And even because of that, we should focus less on this tactic and more on other fronts. Like therapy, medication, medical follow-up, self-monitoring is a complement. You shouldn't just rely on self-monitoring. Although training helps you gain more and more clarity and skill in this matter. But self-monitoring should definitely be one of the tactics you'll use.
ADHD can indeed impact your life. Have you ever felt that if you had the courage to act exactly as you think, everything would be different? People would respect and admire you? Many adults with ADHD are wasting precious time in life because they can't break free from the cycle of self-sabotage. But I developed a method that changed my game, and I'm going to teach it to you in the first link in the description.